different times where it'll just be me and Michael. Then there'll be other times where he has other friends over too. This is what, like what Brett said, it's just a slumber party. We just have a lot of fun.
I never forgot one moment of what Michael did to me, but I was psychologically and emotionally completely unable and unwilling to understand that it was.
So what are you alleging that he actually did?
From 7 years old until 14.
In 2009, Michael Jackson was preparing for what was supposed to be his big comeback to music with 50 sold-out shows in London. This is it. Michael had not performed or released any new music since he was accused of misconduct with a child back in 2003. Unfortunately, Michael would never be able to complete his comeback. On June 25, 2009, the world lost one of his biggest icons and humanitarians. The king of pop passed away.
Listen, right now, and it's very, very sad news, Jim Moret, and to all of our viewers, both the Los Angeles Times and CBS News are both now reporting that Michael Jackson has died.
After Michael's death, you would think the media had been his biggest cheerleaders during his lifetime, with the TV news and entertainment channels covering Michael's death non-stop for weeks. Michael's memorial service was watched by over 1 billion people around the world. After Michael's death, it seemed many in the public put allegations in the past. Michael's estate capitalized on this, releasing movies, multiple albums, and even video games to honor the late king. MTV even renamed its Video Vanguard Award back to the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. For the first time in decades, majority of the conversation about Michael Jackson was on his art and not his personal life. All of this would change when HBO and Oprah Winfrey decided to give legitimacy to the James Safechuck and Wade Robson allegations by releasing the film Leaving Neverland, a decade after Michael passed. On June 26, 2009, the day after Michael's death, Wade Robson contacted ABC to work with them on choreography for a proposed Dancing with the Stars tribute to Michael. May 2011, Wade Robson approaches John Breaker, the co-executor of the Michael Jackson estate, asking to be hired as the director for the Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson 1 Vegas promotion. Robson was turned down. If you have watched my previous chapters, you would have noticed Wade's name multiple times. Wade Robson was a long-term friend of not just Michael, but multiple members of the Jackson family. He defended Michael as a child as well as an adult, but in 2013, he sued the Jackson estate for a reported $1 billion, claiming Michael sexually abused him from the ages of 7 to 14. James Safechuck met Michael in 1988 during the filming of a Pepsi commercial that filmed during Michael's first solo tour, the Bad World Tour. James also defended Michael when questioned as a child during the 1993 investigation. In 2014, Safechuck joined Wade Robson's lawsuit claiming Michael molested him from the ages of 10 to 14 years old. In 2015, a judge rejected Robson's claim, believing no rational juror could believe it under California law. The lawsuit was dismissed as untimely. Safechuck's case was dismissed in 2017. Both cases were repealed and dismissed again in 2020 for Safechuck and in 2021 for Robson.
The night started changing. One of the ways I remember it starting is, Michael just sort of starting to touch my legs and touch my crotch over my pants. It progressed to him performing on me, him showing me how to perform on him.
Robertson is lying through his teeth, and he know it. And anybody can say it that know it, know Michael. Wade knows better. Wade just wants money. He knows better. He's from Australia, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he knows he's lying.
Wade Robeson was the first of the two men to accuse Michael of using them as a child and is the more outspoken of the two alleged victims. According to Wade, he met Michael Jackson at 5 years old while Michael was touring Australia. He again met Michael when he was 7. By the age of 9, Wade moved to America and was signed to Michael's MJJ record label at 11. Robeson would go on to have a moderately successful career in Hollywood, writing and choreographing for megastars like Britney Spears and NSYNC, even landing his own MTV show in 2002 called The Wade Robeson Project. From my research, the last major job of Robeson's career in entertainment came when he choreographed the animated film Happy Feet 2. Months after finishing the movie, Robeson contacted the Jackson estate seeking a job, as he mentioned earlier. This was Robeson's last months active in Hollywood. In part 3 of this series, we discussed how Wade Robeson's testimony in the 2005 trial was the star testimony from the prosecution. Let me remind you what Wade said in his testimony. The defense asked, "Are you aware, as you sit here today, that there's been allegations that Mr. Jackson molested you?" Wade responded, "Yes." The defense asked, "Mr. Robeson, did Michael Jackson ever molest you at any time?" Wade responded, "Absolutely not." The defense asked, "Mr. Robeson, did Michael ever touch you in any sexual way?" Wade responded, "Never, no." The defense then questioned, "Has Mr. Jackson inappropriately touched any part of your body at any time?" Wade, "No." In 2013, almost 3 years since his last project and 2 years since he requested a job from the Jackson estate, Wade changed the story he gave in his testimony, now claiming he had been molested by Jackson for 7 years. After defending Michael for over 20 years, Robeson now claims he was able to understand what went on between he and Michael was an abusive relationship. Robeson claimed Michael first molested him at 7 while his family took a vacation to the Grand Canyon, leaving young Wade in the care of Jackson. According to Wade, Michael began molesting him immediately, gradually building up to sexual acts until allegedly performing oral on each other. The only problem with this story is Wade's mother testified in sworn depositions in 1993 and in 2016, claiming that the entire family went on the trip to the Grand Canyon, including a 7-year-old Wade, and that Wade had never been left alone with Michael until 1993, when Wade was 13 years old.
The Grand Canyon.
I understand that you stayed then 2 different weekends at Neverland on that trip, is that right?
Yes.
And then in between you and your kids and your husband and your parents all went on tourist trip to the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
So you were there, is it 2 nights the first time?
Yes.
And then you came back after your whole family had gone away?
Yes.
And you spent another, 2 nights?
At Neverland, yes.
Robson himself testified as an adult that the first time he visited Neverland without his mother was in 1992 or 1993, which means he would not have been alone at Neverland with Michael Jackson in 1990, as Leaving Neverland claimed.
Wade would continue to have a relationship with the Jackson family for the next decade plus, visiting Neverland on multiple occasions into adulthood. Robeson even had a serious 7-year relationship with the daughter of Michael's older brother, Jackie.
It really is. It's very, very sad, but I don't want to go into detail with it, but Wade was very close with members in the family, and he very close with several members in the family, and I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. Very surprised. Everybody
Didn't he date some of your nieces?
Yeah, he did, 2 of them.
Michael and Wade had been friends for so long that Robeson testified on Michael's behalf while Michael was on trial for allegations. Robeson has given multiple reasons on why he testified on Michael's behalf in 2005. initially saying it was because he never was abused, then amending his statement saying he knew Michael's children and didn't want them to lose their father. Robeson would again change his reasoning, saying he did not want to testify but received a subpoena to do so, only testifying in favor of Jackson because he was not ready to tell his story. Michael's defense team said Wade was one of their strongest witnesses and that he volunteered his services to Michael, claiming they never sent out any subpoenas to any witnesses. Robeson to this day has yet to show proof of a subpoena. He claimed he kept years of memorabilia from Jackson, but not the subpoena. Seems fishy to me, as well as the defense investigator for Michael, Scott Ross.
I would love for Wade Robson to show me the subpoena he never got.
We will return to the Robeson allegations when we cover the Living with Michael Jackson documentary.
I become immune in a way too. I'm very strong. I have rhinoceros skin, and but at the same time I'm human, so anything can hurt like that, but I'm very strong. And I just don't like people hearing about such false information.
James Safechuck had a completely different relationship with Michael than Wade. Safechuck claims he wasn't a fan of Michael before they met when he was 10 years old in 1998 while filming a Pepsi commercial. Safechuck would form a friendship with Michael for the next 4 years. Safechuck would defend Michael in 1993 when questioned had he ever been about Michael. Unlike Wade, James did not have a relationship with Michael's family and was not asked to testify in 2005. In 2014, Safechuck decided to join Robeson's lawsuit, now claiming that Michael had molested him from the ages of 10 to 14 years old. Safechuck would claim he realized he had been abused after seeing Wade tell his story on TV. Similar to Robeson, Safechuck claimed Michael groomed him before making the boy believe they were in a relationship together. Safechuck claimed Michael showered him with expensive jewelry and even staged a mock wedding for the two. James Safechuck has only done interviews as a duo with Wade and doesn't have solo interviews. Unlike Wade, James did not testify in court or participate in any sworn depositions, so we have far less information to work with. The only evidence we can disprove from Safechuck came from the Leaving Neverland documentary, but as we will go over, just like the two men's public story, the documentary is full of inconsistencies. "4 years after Wade first went public with his accusations, he met with director Dan Reed to tell his alleged story. Reed met with Safechuck the next week, as well as prosecutors and detectives from Michael's 1993 and 2005 investigations. Reed decided not to use any film from the investigators or detectives. The documentary also did not reach out to any members of the Jackson family or anyone close to Michael. Reed claims after his interview with Robeson and Safechuck, he corroborated their stories. As we will cover, he either did a terrible job or he is flat out lying. Leaving Neverland finally released through HBO in the United States and Channel 4 in the United Kingdom as a 2-part series. The series was an overwhelming success, bringing in almost 10 million viewers combined in the UK between its two broadcasts. In the US, the documentary drew a combined audience of 2 million viewers. Following the American viewing, close personal friend of Harvey Weinstein, Oprah Winfrey, interviewed Wade Robeson and James Safechuck. All members of the Jackson family called both Robeson and Safechuck liars, saying they were after money. They also condemned the documentary for not reaching out to any members of the family for a statement.
If Neverland was so horrifying for him, and why would you keep going back?
After the release of the film, many of Michael's friends came out to support him, saying they had never been abused by Michael and that nothing sexual had ever happened, including child actor Corey Feldman, singer Aaron Carter, Brett Barnes, and Macaulay Culkin. Corey Feldman later said he could no longer defend Michael.
I would imagine you believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
Who you said, by the way, did not abuse you.
Who Michael was innocent, and that was what the interview was about with the police in 1993. I told them he is not that guy, and they said, well, maybe you just don't understand your friend. And I said, no, I know the difference between pedophiles and somebody who's not a pedophile because I've been molested. Time for me, and this is a very emotional process for any survivor of abuse, anybody that's been through these things, to, first of all, I ask people to put themselves in my shoes. You know, you're a kid who has endured sexual abuse, and during those times, I'm looking to somebody like Michael Jackson as a friend, as a big brother figure, and he was that person to me. However, as you're friends with this guy, all of a sudden you start to hear more and more accusations being thrown around by various people, and it comes to a point where, as an advocate for victims, as an advocate for changing the statutes of limitations to make sure that victims' voices are heard, it becomes impossible for me to stay virtuous and not at least consider what's being said and not listen to what the victims are saying. This is very important. We must give them their voice. We must allow them to speak. And therefore, we also must consider all sides of this, even as uncomfortable as that may be.
Brett Barnes and Macaulay Culkin's defense of Michael were problematic for the film and Michael's accusers because the documentary strongly implied that Michael replaced Safechuck and Robeson with Barnes and Culkin. Robeson and Safechuck both claimed Michael dropped them because they were too old. The only problem with this is not only did Macaulay Culkin and Brett Barnes defend Michael, they were both older than Robeson. Macaulay was older than Robeson by 2 years.
You know, a family friend.
What happened at the house? That's what all these things are.
You know, that's what's so weird. You know,
what did happen?
Nothing happened. You know, I mean, nothing really. I mean, we played video games. You know, we played it at his amusement park. Well, the thing is with that whole thing is that they go, oh, you slept in the same bedroom as him. It's like, I don't think you understand. Michael Jackson's bedroom is 2 stories, and it has like 3 bathrooms and this and that. So when I slept in his bedroom, yeah, but you have to understand the whole scenario. And the thing is with Michael is that he's not very good at explaining himself, and he never really has been, because he's not a very social person. I mean, you're talking about someone who's been sheltered and sheltering himself also for the last 30 years, or and so he's not very good at communicating to people and not very good at conveying what he's actually trying to say to you. And so when he says something like that, people, he doesn't quite understand why people react the way that they do.
After the release of the documentary, Brett Barnes changed his profile picture to a picture of him with Michael, as well as tweeting, "Not only do we have to deal with these lies, but we also got to deal with people perpetuating these lies, by choice or not, makes it even worse." If this was the only case of alternative facts in the film, maybe it could be excused, but the documentary is full of proven lies. Some lies that were easily disproven were them claiming Michael kept his victims apart, even though there are pictures of Safechuck and Robeson together as children with Michael. Safechuck claims he was at the 1989 Grammy Awards, even though Michael did not attend that event, as well as Wade never receiving a subpoena, according to Jackson's attorneys. One of the most intriguing parts of the film to me were all the places James Safechuck claimed he was molested that were proven couldn't have happened. Not only did Safechuck claim he was molested at the 1989 Grammy Awards that Michael didn't attend, he also claimed to be molested in the iconic Neverland train station. Safechuck claimed he was molested from 1989 to 1992. The train station did not begin construction until 1993 and was not finished until 1994, 2 years after Safechuck claims his abuse was passed on to another boy. Safechuck also claimed to be molested on small beds in the Neverland Castle, but 3 different staff members as well as ride developers said there were no beds in the castle, with the developers saying there was a little TV in the corner and nothing else. Safechuck also claims Michael molested him in the Neverland movie theater when his mother almost catching them, claiming the only reason she did it was the doors were locked from the inside. Alan Scanlon, one of the people who built the theater, claimed locking the doors was only possible from the outside and that Michael didn't even have access to the key, which makes sense. I doubt Michael was doing maintenance at Neverland. The documentary is full of proven lies and straight up doctored statements.
You like a ton of bricks. We will land on you like a hammer. If you do anything to besmirch this man's reputation, anything to intrude on his privacy in any way that's actionable, we will unleash a legal torrent like you've never seen.
As you can see, the Leaving Neverland documentary is full of lies. Both James Safechuck and Wade Robeson told proven lies in the documentary. Director Dan Reed obviously did not corroborate their stories like he claimed. The documentary has little to no credibility. One thing I would like to point out is how different Robeson's and Safechuck's allegations were compared to Gavin Arvizo's. Gavin and his family portrayed Michael as a mastermind that intoxicates children and holds their family hostage at Neverland. All throughout the film and interviews, both Robeson and Safechuck claimed Michael was one of the kindest people they had ever met, but he also abused them. They never alleged Michael gave them any alcohol as children or forced them and their family to stay at Neverland like the Arvizo family. Honestly, it doesn't even seem like these two even tried to get their story straight. And in a post-Me Too world, they did not have to. I completely support the Me Too movement and completely acknowledge Hollywood is full of creeps and freaks. But just like anything else, it has negatives. A con to the movement has been people not being able to question a victim's story without being labeled victim blaming. I believe this might be why Corey Feldman said he could no longer defending Michael, even though he said Michael never abused him. I think Dan Reed, James Safechuck, and of course Wade Robeson took advantage of the Me Too movement and Jackson's celebrity to try and make a buck. It's a shame some of the same people that befriended Michael while he was alive turned their back on him after he died. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more content on Michael Jackson and the Jackson family.
Be specific as I can. Did you ever, as this young boy said you did you ever sexually engage, fondle, have sexual contact with this child or any other child?
Never, ever. I could never harm a child or anyone. It's not in my heart. It's not who I am. And it's not what I'm not even interested in that.